So here I am driving around this neighborhood, looking at all these houses that I like to buy. You have to coat your mind. What you feed your mind, man, it counts. Your belief system is very important. This is what I'm here for. I'm here to build your belief system, to change your belief system. You understand? This was my thought process, man. You understand? You have to attract, to manifest. You have to be obsessed, delusional. They were gonna call it delusional. My first two sons were sleeping on the floor. Remember, it's a 2-bedroom. Silala ngapha thina. In the next bedroom kulala inene ne-twins on the bed. Ama-twins alala nathi andithi abantwana bayancanca andithi. But inene ulala ebhedini ngapha, and then my first two sons, they're sleeping on the floor. This was the pressure that I was under, but luckily I had a woman obe-understanda. Ebeyibona lento endiyibonayo. She was willing to go where I was going. No ibingabonakali. But remember, we are sharing these dreams. We are talking about this type of house that we want. We don't know. Hello everyone, ninjani makhaya. I hope everyone is good, man, back at home. Nam digranding ngapha ne. First things first, man, I would like to welcome you guys to my show, my podcast, From Nothing to Something podcast, baby. Another thing, I think, let me just start by introducing myself to the people who don't know me yet. Igama lam ndungu-Anele Sokapase, ne? aka uta Ace, aka uta Mabheka, inja ye-game, inja yempilo, ukabadia, uphunyuka bamphethe. By now you should know, right? But for you, man, you can just call me uta Ace, ne? Guys, we've got a special show today. And if you guys are new to the channel, welcome to the movement, man. Welcome to the show. I'm glad you guys have joined us today. And this channel, man, it's all about motivation. It's about uplifting abantu. It's about inspiring people, man. And I'm doing that by, sharing my life story, my life experiences, right? So, yeah. And I also want to mention, before I go on, I want to mention that if you want to be average, empilweni, if you want to be ordinary, you want to just live a normal life, an average life, this episode is not for you. This episode is not for you. Utita isa hayi mani mna ndifuna into complicated nento, ndifuna ukuphila life nje normal, jo ndizele esipani, come back to my wife and ntoni, ndiclock amajita, phatha abantwana, you know about that life, ndiziselele ndithini. There's nothing wrong with that. If that's the life that you want, the normal life, you don't want problems, you don't want you don't want the smoke, it's okay, man. You know what? This episode is not for you. This episode is not for you because of the things I'm going to share in this episode. It's not for you, maybe. Maybe you should just unsubscribe right now. No hard feelings between me and you, no problem. Because I don't want you to catch feelings. Because I'm going to say things that, I told you I'm not going to sugarcoat anything. This episode, man, is for people who are not here to make excuses because of their background, because of their circumstances and all those things. People who come from the trenches, man, people who believe there's a better world out there, other than labor kuyo situation. People who want the best life for themselves, people who want to break generational curses, people who are not gonna settle, they understand, people who want to overcome their traumas, man, all these things. I'm looking for those people. Those are the people that I'm talking to today, right? We're going from nothing to something, man. Okay? So yeah, man, no hard feelings, sharp. So like I was saying in the previous episode, here I am now. I'm living with my wife, right? We are renting this 2-bedroom apartment, in this upmarket area. You'll understand why I keep saying that. Fine. Man, things are rolling. We had the car situation. We managed to resolve it and all of that stuff. Then ke ngoku, I also mentioned uba bendisebenza phi, and I worked there for a good 10, 11 years, and ever since I worked there, man, as frustrated as I was, I had a good time, but it was frustrating at the same time. But kuyo yonke la 10 years, I want to mention this, kuyo yonke la 10 years bendisebenza pha, I never applied, for another job, because I wanted to. Remember, I just started move in with my wife, and ngapha we are starting a family. By then, maybe we had one kid. Now maybe sese nomntana esibini. I remember my second born was born in 2013. Ne? So I'm still learning about this family thing and stuff like that. Being a father, intend to be a husband in future. But remember, there are other things that are troubling me. My family situation. Remember, my mom is no longer around. She passed on 2001 in my first year at varsity. Never had time to grieve her, man. I grieved her through my hustle. I decided to grieve my mom's passing through my hustle. You understand? I was willing to make something of myself, and that's how I've decided to grieve her, So this is me, man, at this point. There's this other thing that is eating me up, the issue of family, us not being united, or maybe me being treated like an outcast, from the family and stuff. So that was really bothering me. That's one thing in my life, besides the normal struggles, right? But the family issue, man, was really bothering me. This booze bangabana, why things are the way zilulo. And they're still like that even now, as I'm recording this podcast, right? But later in life, at this point, man, I decided, bangabana, it is what it is, maybe they will come around one day, but until then, you know what? This is out of my control, right? That's my attitude right now. But at that point, man, it was really bothering me. I was in Gauteng by myself, man, I'm doing this thing. I'm learning how to be a father. I'm learning how to be a husband, so to speak, right? I'm prepping myself to be this head of the family. I'm learning all these things that you need to learn in order to lead a family, right? All at once, But yeah, man, this is who I was. And then it was a time of my life whereby I was learning things about myself, right? What do I want in life? I had a small idea, little idea, but it wasn't that clear. But I knew that I wanted to be great. I wanted something out of the ordinary. I wanted something out of, hey man, something that is out there. I couldn't even describe it at that point in time, but I wanted something that is out there, man, and my job was not going to give me that, the life that I wanted, right? So this is me, man. So now I'm staying with my wife. Then I started buying, remember now, I told you I'm into hip hop, right? So I started buying this double XL magazine, Yase States, there's this hip hop magazine Yase State called Double XL. Yeah, man, and it doesn't come cheap. It was around $50 when I started buying it, and I already told you how I feel about hip hop, the impact that hip hop has had in my life, what hip hop does for me in terms of inspiring and uplifting my soul and all those things. So yeah, so I started buying this magazine, every month from CNA. When CNA was still open before COVID. COVID in Bulele. Sharp. So that's the first magazine I started buying, right? And then, secondly, I started buying this magazine, GQ magazine, the fashion GQ fashion magazine. Yeah, I started buying that. You ask yourself why. Something that I forgot to mention in maybe in the first or second episode, right? I used to be a model, man. I used to used to be a model. Okay, let's say an aspiring what modeling career what. You know, go Nancy primary, ne? My mom got me into this modeling thing. All right, so I was entering these modeling, what you call this, modeling competitions at the school, but we were not wearing our clothes. Ne? We were competing like wearing a uniform. Okay, so it started in primary, I think standard 4 or standard 5, right? That's where this thing started. So my mom got me into that way early, before the basketball, before playing soccer, trying all these other things. But yeah, man, this is what I was into. Only didn't faka klondo. So yeah, man. So I did that thing before basketball, man. I used to do that. I did it from standard 4 or 5, standard 6, and I stopped doing it in standard 7, and that's where the basketball took over. From standard 8. So in this modeling thing, when I started playing basketball. No, man, this modeling thing at the same time, it was starting to get serious because I remember, and I was winning these competitions. Sometimes I'll be number 1, number 2. I was always in the top 3. I mean, hey. I'm days after all, you understand? Well, okay, sharp. So I remember this thing was starting to be serious, because I remember standard 7, ne? That's when I started having my first gig. There was a campaign that was started by Markham's, the normal store, Markham's, Luyazi. Markham's has been around for some time now. So there was this new range that they wanted to, to showcase. And then so they were picking, candidates, models, So I was one of the models that was picked. They had this new arrangement that they wanted to do, so I was part of that campaign. Ne? So yeah, and that was the first time I went to do a modeling gig wearing, the clothes and stuff like that. Other than that, it was just normal competitions, right? So that's the only gig I did in my life, and that was the first one, right? So then basketball took over. And then someone introduced me to basketball in standard 8, like I said, and then. The rest is history, right? But yeah, so here I am, like I was saying, here I am. I had a little passion for impahla, the fashion, the ndoni, looking good, ndon, you understand? So I started buying this GQ magazine, CNA, I remember. I used to buy GQ South Africa, GQ British, GQ Style, I went on later to even buy magazines like Destiny Man, that type of vibe, So those are the things that I was gravitating towards, impahla, nice clothes. And yeah, man, that was me, And then so if you go to my house, these are the type of magazines, man, you're gonna find. There's a lot of them, trust me, right? And some of them I use them for just to decorate the house, right? If you've been to the crib, you know this. Then the third magazine that I was buying, I started buying these property magazines, like the homeowner magazine. Homeowner, ne? Started buying homeowner from Pick n Pay, Spar, Dontoni, ne? Started buying this homeowner magazine. And the other one was Habitat. It's called Habitat, ne? These two magazines, these property magazines. And if you've seen those magazines, you know the type of properties that they are showcasing there. It's not your ordinary properties, right? Like this top billing. It's all about decorating the house also and doing. But it's stuff that at that point in my life, it's out of this world, man. And I don't know why I'm gravitating towards these things. But anyway, I'm just following what my spirit is telling me to do. Sharp. So I'm into this thing. I'm into these magazines. Every month I buy these magazines, and they're not cheap, Joe. They are not cheap. They're around 30, 40 rands. I'm sure now they are 40 rands. What you call the hip hop magazine was like 50 rands. I remember GQ British, it was this thick, about 200 grand. 200 rands. 200 grand. 200 rands, you know. So they don't come cheap, man. You know, but I was serious about this thing, you know. And then I would just page through these things, you know, just admiring. Right? As I'm renting into this 2-bedroom flat, fine, we get our second born around 2013. Man, you know, I'm discovering things about myself, things I like, things I don't like, what I'm about, yonke lento. And remember, I told you bangabana hip hop indenza ndibe ngumuntu onje nanje, you know. I'll tell you the other things that I used to do. I remember I even used to watch certain shows on TV. I was watching a lot of reality TV shows. Like there was this TV show that was playing on MTV, I believe. It was called the guy from Run DMC, or Rev Run. He had a TV show called Run's House, something like that. Because I just like the lifestyle. I like the houses they were showing there. I like the Rolls Royce when he was pulling up with this Rolls Royce. I just, those are the type of things I wanted to see. You understand? I was watching, even keeping up with the Kardashians, Joe. You understand? No, I was not there for the content. I was there for when they show the houses, how the houses look like. You understand? The cars they were driving. Those are the things that I was seeing for myself. You understand? So I picked inspiration from different things. I didn't have a mentor. So that's where I was coating my mind with. That's what I was using to coat my mind, my subconscious mind. You understand? I remember I used to watch MTV Cribs on MTV, you know, showcasing, you know, these rappers' life, how they live, the type of cars they drive. You know, man, how it is for Ilandic MTV Crib, right? So it was showcasing these guys that I like, rappers, even the NBA players, you know, how they live. And these are the things that I'm into, right? I'm into hip hop, I'm into basketball now, sharp. And then that was my life, man, you know. I'll tell you the other thing I used to do, né? In terms of property. Remember I told you I was staying in an upmarket place, right? Area. So what I used to do, because I was dreaming of having this type of a house, you know, this nice house that I couldn't afford at that point in time. What I used to do, you know, during my offs or whatever, I used to drive around the area where I was staying at. I used to drive around and just drive around street to street, just weave through the area, driving slow. And I'm sure I was a suspect. I looked like a suspect at that point in time, you know, because of the car I was driving, and also, you know, when you're driving these neighborhoods, you know, you look like a suspect. So, yeah. But anyway, that was me, man, dreaming, you know, looking at these houses, admiring these houses. But the reality of the situation was we couldn't afford the type of houses I was looking at. We just couldn't. We're far off from that, you know. And the type of houses that we afforded were on the other side of town. And mna bengazifuni apho. Bengingazifuni apho. The reality, the payslip is saying, I remember with me and my wife combined, we at some point we qualified for only 600 and something thousand. Let's say 650,000 house. That's what we qualified for. I know for some people they will say, I know that's you can get a decent house for that money. I understand. But remember, my attitude is there's this thing that is inside me. There's this thing that is in my head. I see something different, way different for myself at that point in time, right? So even when we went to view those other houses, man, Joe, I was like, nah, You understand? Mna ndifuna uhlala apha. Ndifuna uhlala apha e-SE area. You understand? Sharp. Okay, time went on. Yeah, man. Time went on, and then remember we are staying in a 2-bedroom flat, ne? Ngapha sinayo neneni, you know. Now I remember this is now late 2014, I think. This is now late 2014. We already got 2 kids now. Late 2014, ne? December, I think. So it's either December of 2014 or January of 2015. By then, Saint Patelene Lobolo, you know, or I'm almost finished. I think I was finished. Finished paying the lobolo like 2014. And then now, late 2014, we were planning to have our wedding, ne, in 2015 December. Sharp. This was our plan, Nanefro. Sharp. So I even remember when we went to pay the last installment of the ilobola, ne? When we got there, remember Mnandefro, we have already agreed wangabana we're gonna do a traditional wedding because we can't afford a white wedding, right? Sharp, agreed. But let's figure phago kwabo ngoku. Hayibo, izinto ziyajika, ifro yayijika yonke lento. Hayibo, umuntu nangisekafuna i-white wedding. Madoda. Sayithatha imali white wedding too. But anyway, I gave her what she wanted. You know, we used every last penny to make this thing happen. I remember we fought about it when we went back to Efande Bailey, ne? But anyway, but me being me, trying to give my wife everything, man, you know, whatever she desires, nendo, you know, that's fine. I was like, okay, let's do it. So this is end of 2014 now. Now, either 2014 December or 2015 January. I remember it was after our trip from APE, ne? The first time she went to PE. So we discovered that she's pregnant again with the twins this time around. Remember, you already got 2 kids. Now she's pregnant with the twins. I can't go what. Hey, Haibo. Okay, yeah, I'm happy. Yonke lonto leyo, go grand, Joey, we overjoyed, yonke lonto, sharp. But now here's the problem. Now I'm getting more pressure now, you know, in terms of the space. In terms of the space where we are living now. You understand? Now we need a house. Now we are forced to buy a house. You understand? So, this situation I started to see me and my dreams that I have, these fantasies that I have. Ne? No. Then we start looking for a house. I remember I was taking easy magazines, easy that, you know, when you go to your spa, there's a rack that is here, and then they normally put these things, a property 24, and don't. I used to take those magazines there, you know, and check for houses. Sharp. So, first of all, we decide to cancel the wedding. We decide to cancel the wedding for 2015 because now she's pregnant, right? And then, so I remember even the twins were born around September. They were born in September. So me and the twins, we share the same month. Fine. So we've canceled now the wedding, that okay, because remember my wife wants to look good for her wedding and stuff. So we say, okay, we're gonna do the wedding in 2016 December, right? Sharp. So now we've canceled the wedding, but now we need a house for this year. We need a house before she gives birth, for example, to the twins, right? So I remember now searching for this house, not being impressed by whatever we are seeing. Remember, Joe, we qualify around 600 and something thousand, right? So whatever we see, it's not it. It's not happening. Fine, but I had to put my ego on the side, the pride, legal pride that I have on the side, and settle for whatever we could afford that time. I remember we bought this other house, a place called a Riverbend, you know? Riverbend is this section yana. It's next to it's based next to university, which is Northwest University. Sharp. So we go there, we view the house. Okay, we like the house. It's okay. Fine. It's a 3-bedroom yana, 1 garage, something. Okay, sharp. What can we do? Right? We buy this house, we apply for it. Okay, sharp. Things are moving. This is now around maybe August or something. Ne? And then this other day now, as we are waiting for the bank, right, to respond. Okay, Standard Bank calls me. Ne? Standard Bank calls me. I remember my wife was at work that day. So Standard Bank by phone, Mr. Swakapas, congratulations. Congratulations, your bond has been approved. Don't. I'm here on the other side, like in Poregile. I'm rolling my eyes. I'm like, okay. Okay, thank you, Mr. Swakapas. Don't. Sharp. Hang up the phone. This is someone who's buying a house, but I'm not excited about it. Sharp. Because this is not what's in my heart, Joe. Umnandisbonela something else. Let me tell you, Umnandisbonela ndun. Umnandisbonela a 4-bedroom house, double garage. I remember me and my previous job, Usilo. Ne? This is the type of stuff, man, that we're dreaming about in terms of izindlu, furniture, nento. You understand? Yinto besidibanisa ke noSilo leyo kakhulu. Yabo? Fine. So, mna nisibonile double garage, 4-bedroom house, in a study, swimming pool, lapha, the works nje. You understand? Pike. We understand? So, fine. So, that's why I'm sad, because, you understand? But anyway, and mna ndisifuna apha kule area ndihlala kuyo. Ndisifuna apha, Joe. This is where you get this type of houses or more. You understand? But the situation does not allow. Fine. So now, our bond is approved. Oh, after that call from the bank, I called my wife. She's at work. I called my wife. I said, hey, Standard Bank's phone, the bond has been approved. And then she's screaming on the other side, oh, my love, no. She's happy. Ne? No. Then I decided to burst the bubble. Then I told her, we're not going there. Joe, I told her we're not going there. Hi, boy, my love, what do you mean we're not going there? That you know, Joe. I see yepa. Now, before I continue, let me explain this. Before this, there was a time I remember we were interested to study student accommodation around EVUT at that point in time. But the types of houses there, they are abanazo, they are over 1 million, like 1.5 average, 1.5 million average. It's the same type of houses that I want for myself. You understand? So that's like 1.5, man, going up. You understand? Most of them, right? So obviously we couldn't afford. I remember at some point, Nanosil, we wanted to go into partnership to start this student accommodation thing. I talked to him about it, and then he was interested in it. And then until his wife shut it down. But anyway, no problem, fine. So that didn't happen between me and Usilo at that point in time. So fast forward later now to this moment, I'm telling my wife, no, we're not gonna go there. We're not gonna go and stay there. Do you remember this when we wanted to do this student accommodation thing? She's like, yeah, that's exactly what you're gonna do with that house. Yeah, understand? Because I remember in that area, it was a new development area, but at first, families, and then later on, because it's next to a university, and then people saw Elandiga opportunity to start student accommodations and convert their houses into student accommodations. So that's the same thing that was happening with a VUT where we studied. Ne? I remember I used to stay in a commune now. Yeah, so the idea of studying student accommodation was coming from that because we saw the opportunity. I mean, you're always going to have students, right? Every year. So there's no way you're going to run out of business. Sharp. That was the idea, right? So I tell my wife, no, this is what we're going to do. This is what we're going to do. So I go back to that normal self of mine. Bangabana, no, I'm not going to settle for this thing. The situation, Joe, is saying, a payslip zethu. So by two, zeti, this is where you guys belong. This is what you can get out of life at this moment in time. What did I choose to do? I was like, nah, I'm not going there. We're going to start the student accommodation thing. Okay, my love, that you know, God will provide. That's what I said. That was my answer to her. In terms of, okay, but what are we going to do now? The twins are on their way. I just said, God will provide, man. We're going to figure this thing out. We'll be fine. We'll be fine. But I'm not going there. We are not going there. That's not what I've envisioned for this family. That was my attitude, Joe. The last time I told someone that God will provide was when I was still in primary, telling my mother, I said that to my mother when she was in the process of buying the flat that I mentioned, the first flat she bought in town. I think there were complications with the applications towards the end. She was supposed to get the keys and don't. So here's my mother stressed, you understand? Then, I don't know, whatever. As young as I was, can't even remember my age. So here's my mother is stressed, and then whatever she was saying, and then I told her. My response was, God will provide. She got the keys the following day. That's all I knew. You understand? So here I am, the second time I'm saying this, I'm telling this to my wife now. The situation does, you see, if you want to know God, if you want to see God, hey, I need to explain this thing. Oh, God does not appear in situations that if it's still within your capacity, if you still have control over a situation, it has to be impossible. And that's when you have to believe. That's when you have to show faith. When you get to these type of situations, you stop and then you settle. I can't relate, bro. With all due respect. Ne? There's nothing wrong with it. If that's what you want for yourself, that's fine. But definitely not for a family. I turned that thing down. At the same time. I was like, God will provide me. And I'm not so stress, yes, casual. And guess what? That's why I'm grateful for my wife. Because my wife, with all these crazy dreams that I used to have, or I have, she doesn't get in the way. Not because she doesn't have a say. No, she does have a say. We discuss these things. But because you as the head of the family, you are the one who's supposed to come with a vision. The vision must come with you. Yeah, now she's there to help you. The woman, the wife, is sent there to help you. But you cannot go around now asking the woman, hey man, what do you think we should do at this point in our lives? No. And that's exactly what I did. Then I'm telling that this is what we're going to do. You understand that, Joe? No, this is not what I see for my family because I have a vision. You understand? Fine. So she tells me, my love, no, it's fine, again. If okay, that's what you say fit, it's fine. My love, no problem. Even if as long as they now the grand. That's what she said to me. And that's all I needed to hear. You understand? And that's the other thing that is very critical, man, to my success is my wife not getting in the way. Is my wife not crushing my dreams and reminding me of a reality of the situation. She didn't get in the way. She didn't remind me of Anele, what we don't have and don't. My wife was just, as long as she, honestly speaking, as long as Nandiko Nanje, it's like that's all she needed. Fine, she agrees to this thing. So She gives birth to the twins, I remember. Now, I remember we get the keys for this is 2015, we get the keys for the house around October, November. Around October, November. We get the keys for this house. So now that means we must prepare the house for student accommodation for 2016 January, right? We start doing that, and then, okay, sharp, we buy beds, we buy desk, we buy wardrobe, everything that you're gonna need. I'm moving, Joe. We are moving. We're starting this thing. You understand? Later on, I remember my wife even reminded me and told me, into student accommodation, kudala wayifuna. What do you mean? I don't know. Back in the day, your first year of working, when you were coming check a VUT, errors, you brought this thing up then. That's the first time you brought up this thing. And then Sayek okay at that time. But this is not the first time you are saying this thing. Okay, so clearly. You understand? Fine. So, come 2016, now we are starting this student accommodation thing, no problem. Don't. Sharp. I strongly believe Bangabana, student accommodation is going to be our way out of this poverty. Clearly not through our pay slips, clearly not through our jobs, not through our salaries. My thing was, this is the thing that is I was convinced, Joe. I remember even when my mother-in-law came to visit us in our flat, I remember me showing her Ubangabana, the type of house I want. I remember even at that point, now the twins are already here. So the other thing that I wanted was a 7-seater. Now I started wanting a 7-seater. Remember, now there's 6 of us. See 7 geneni, if you're gonna factor in. See 6 injalo, asifiti kwi 5-seater. Kamatikiti ango. So the stakes have gone higher now, even when it comes to the car. I need a 7-seater now. Guess what? Ndiyayifuna ke le 7-seater. Nayo. You understand? So I'm obsessed about this dream house of mine. I'm obsessed now about this 7-seater. I was going quick garages mna. Ndiyojonga pha as if ndizoyithenga le way. Yeah, ndizoyithenga ngoku but ndiyoyijonga. You understand? I remember the one car that I liked was a Dodge something, the SUV, the 7-seater. I'm sure you know it. You understand? That was my car. Dodge something. I forgot what it is. But yeah. I remember they opened a Kia garage nearby, and then I took a brochure. There was this other car, maybe it's a Kia Sedona. All of a sudden now, they're sending a Kia Sedona. I think it was an 8-seater or something like that, 7 or 8. I understand. So I needed that type of a car for the whole family and it. This is me just dreaming. And our situation, remember, it doesn't look like it. It doesn't look like we can have these type of things that I want. Fine. But it doesn't mean that's not stopping me or Salai. You understand? Me dreaming about these things. So here I am driving around this neighborhood, looking at all these houses that I like to buy. You have to, I don't know what they call it. Is it law of attraction or law of manifestation? You have to coat your mind. What you feed your mind, man, it counts. The things that you say to yourself, they count. Your belief system is very important. This is what I'm here for. I'm here to get you aligned. I'm here to build your belief system, to change your belief system. You understand? This was my thought process, man. You understand? You have to attract in those funayo empilweni. You have to manifest in those funayo empilweni. You have to be obsessed against those funayo empilweni. You have to be delusional against those funayo empilweni. Because guess what? If I was telling that to someone else who doesn't see what I see, they were going to call me delusional. You understand? Too ambitious and what. But I knew what I wanted, man. You understand? So fine. Now we've started in the student accommodation and all that stuff. Now it's 2016. So now we decide we're gonna have our white wedding at the end of that year, meaning in December. You understand? In 2016. Sharp. Ama-twins selapha. There's 6 of us, there's 7 of us. We need a nanny for these twins, and it got to a point whereby things got to a point whereby the first 2 sons, my first 2 sons were sleeping on the floor. Remember, it's a 2-bedroom. Silala ngapha thina. In the next bedroom, kulala ineni, ne twins on the bed. You understand? Okay, no, not with the twins on the bed, because ama twins alala nathi andithi abantwana bayancanca andithi. But ineni ulala ebedini ngapha, and then my first 2 sons, they are sleeping on the floor. This was the situation. You understand, Bantini? This was the pressure that I was under, but luckily I had a woman who understand. She was willing to go where I was going. But remember, we are sharing these dreams. We are talking about these things. We are talking about this type of house that we want. We both know you understand? That's why she was willing to wait. You gotta have patience in this game. It's a game of patience, Joe. Things are not just gonna happen like this. And you gotta have faith. That's why, Mele, what did I say? Utiko will provide. You understand? So, fine, that was me, that was us. You understand? And sometimes, here are our other friends. We didn't have so many friends, but let's say, here's other friends, they are buying houses. When we go to visit, they're in a new house, man. Very nice house, and we're applauding them. We're not jealous, Joe. We're applauding them. We congratulate them. Guys, well done. We were inspired, Joe. This is where we wanted to be, Nat, and it one day. But this situation being a booming in clash. I remember remember now this student accommodation house is operating. Now I remember there's this other area called the Bedford Park. There's bigger houses there. This type of house that I want is there. Fine, but I don't want to stay in Bedford Park, right? So I remember now I'm paging this magazine. I come across this house. Then you take from us a view, very nice house, big house, exactly how I described it. But remember, I thought student accommodation is going to be our way out, and there were a lot of student accommodations in that area. So my intention was, if we were to buy this house, man, and then we went to view the house. It's the type of house that we can also live in, but there's any bodily business. I remember the land it was 1.2 million. This couple, they were building a new house at 3 Rivers. So they couldn't sell it for that 1.2 million. And then at this point, it was around 840,000. I see afford it. I see afford the. And I remember there was a possibility. The agent tried so many tricks, man, for us to buy this house. But we couldn't force it. Relax. This is not the type of house that I have for you. You understand? Relax. You have to be patient. But I wanted this thing so bad. You understand? Fine, so we couldn't qualify for that house. I remember, okay, we let it go. That's fine. Sharp. So that was us, man. And then something else happened. Something else happened. Remember with me, buying these magazines every month. I was buying these magazines, like I'm saying, every month, I'm watching these TV shows, that are showing me this kind of lifestyle that I would like to live. Fine. Then something else happens. You remember uScoop Marketing? When umazi is uScoop Marketing and it usiyabonga ngwekazi. Thina ke PE simazi ezumbombo, ne? Scoop is on TV. He's a TV presenter. He's presenting all these shows. From I was watching him from Street Journal, from Slam Dunk, when he was still presenting Slam Dunk. Remember, I used to play ball, you understand? So he was presenting Slam Dunk. I think that's where he started, right? Fine, he went to Street Journal. So, Scoop I was following a TV, yabo. So here is Scoop now presenting OV Entertainment, yabo. I was not missing that show, man. I think it was every Friday or something like that. You know, I was not missing. I wanted to watch Scoop on TV. Remember, look, Lomchita Ndiamaz is the same Scoop. Look, Losa Skale naye sidlala sonke basketball. It hits different, Joe, when you see someone obukhula naye, you know, having made it that big. That was the inspiration for me. You understand? So I was drawing inspiration from that. Whenever I saw him on TV, you know, it had this burning sensation inside my, you know, inside my chest, man. And it's compared to Scoop. You understand? No, Scoop is a goat, man. If you know Scoop, Scoop is a goat. You understand? But because of Ndiamaz Lamchita, he was serving as an inspiration, Goom. And guess what? Scoop. You understand? I didn't have to be his friend. I didn't have to have his contacts. Just by admiring him and Dumbona from a distance, watching him do his thing, that's where I got the inspiration. Now, the icing on the cake was, here comes Forever Young. The reality show, Forever Young. His show with Ulungile Khadu and Thomas Gumede. Joe. Then it was over. Then it was over for me, Joe. You understand? Then it was over. Right there and there for me. Joe, I lost it. I was like, no. I was watching this guy that I grew up with back in the day playing ball. We all started out together. Here he is now. Traveling the world. You understand? Going to Brazil or Jamaica, States, living his dream. Living his dream, Joe. Joe, if Joe is as fananezi, they don't touch, you don't get touched by into ezinje. If that's not inspiration for you, then I don't know what it is. When I saw that, I was like, Joe. Joe, I had this burning sensation because of, remember what I'm saying. I'm saying I was inspired. I was not feeling jealous. I was not jealous of him. When I saw him doing that, I was inspired, Joe. And remember, I'm on this journey of mine, Gab. You know, looking for whatever I'm looking for. But here is this gentleman now who is my peer. You understand? Doing his thing. That was the icing on the cake for me. When I saw that, I was like, okay, now it's on. No, not because I'm from a TV and Scoop on the team. No. Scoop has what he has. All I needed was just the inspiration. All I needed was just to see that. And so that thing, it fueled me more, even way more, when I saw him do that. They understand? So it goes back to that thing, Bangabana, uThixo usebenza ngabantu. Directly, indirectly. You understand that, Joe? So, yeah, man, this is what I'm talking about, Joe. This is what I'm talking about. And fast forward, Joe, you know, I'm not going to get into this thing now. I'm going to talk about it maybe in the next episode. But if I was to tell you now, fast forward, ne? We ended up getting the house that we wanted. God ended up blessing us with the house of our dreams. Better than we even thought. Whatever we had in mind. How did that happen? I will share that in the next episode. But what I'm trying to show you here is when you hit those moments, you don't have to settle for what life is giving you. If you know, Bangabana, it's not what you have in your heart. uThixo kulapho uzambona khona. uThixo only shows up Moments as nesi, if you want to see God's wonders, God's miracles, as when if I pray, okay, fine, and then the miracle is going to happen. No, I told you, meet uThixo halfway. You have to show him that you want this thing. You are about this life. If bangabana, that's not you, Joe, yeah, okay. That's why I said, you know what? If this is not you, yeah, okay, Joe, we're going to do it on your behalf, team. You understand? Here I was, looking for a 7-seater car. Guess what? I got it eventually. You attract these things. uThixo, when the situation does not look like, because if it looks like, ne, and then you get that blessing, ibingafuna uThixo kaloku pesela lanto leya. Nabantu xa bejongayo bazothi I mean you can afford it, he has a nice job, well-paying job, ntoni. You understand? uThixo ufuna umbona is those situations apho your capacity ends. And then from here up, if you give him a chance, that's how you're going to see uThixo in your life. That's how I've been seeing uThixo in those moments. That's the God I'm talking about, Joe. Yeah, understand? You don't have to settle for what life is giving you because of those circumstances. And then when you write yourself off and say, no, clearly this is what was meant for me. No, it's not always like that. Those are the moments otestwa ngazo. Those are the things otestwa ngazo. You're going to get to those moments, kakade. Bakhona abantu who have done these things around you, but when you're not learning. Now when I saw Scoop, I got inspired. But when you hate on me. I've lost friends. You understand? I'm not saying I'm Scoop, but I'm some form of inspiration. You think about 10 cents the way. I've had friends, Joe. Not so many. I'm not someone who had so many friends, but the few friends that I had in my life, I had to cut them off. Because born as an inspiration. Hey man, who comes from where we know he comes from. And then now go overseas and then he's doing his thing. Don't. That should be an inspiration. But if Ota was the way, that means, Joe, this thing is possible, man. What more proof do you want to see uThixo ukhona? No, but when what you decide to do was to hate on me. What you decide to do when was question why him and not me. You saw those things for yourself and not me. Instead of how do you do what you do? You choose to hate on me. Guess what? Cut you off. Because you are in competition. That's what your friends are doing. They are always in competition with you. And if you keep them long enough around you, you know what? And Funo Tuxel. They're going to show you flames. They're going to bring you down. You understand? So I had to lose a lot of friends, man, because of that. I thought, Uguti, mhlawumbi, by me now having, acquired this big blessing from God, Shane, in life, improve. My friends are going to look at me the same way I looked at Uskupu. And that did not happen. I told you, unsubscribe. This episode is not for you. This is why I had to cut them off. Because clearly they were not happy for me and it. We were not cut from the same cloth that I thought we were cut from. We are cut from the same cloth. Which cloth? Because the cloth that they used to make me with in, we're not cut from the same cloth, man. I thought we had the same dreams, Can't you know? Guess what? You understand? But anyway, guys, yeah, man, I'm gonna leave it there today. And next episode, man, I'm gonna share ubangabana how did uThixo bless us and turn things around for us, for me and my family, And But yeah, this story keeps getting better. But what I'm saying is, those are the type of decisions that I had to make. When I say to you, you have a potential, Joe, to reach great heights. But when one, you are letting circumstances that you found in this world, you are letting bad things that happened to you during your life, whatever, Joe, you are letting not having a support your family yakho. You are letting not having a support of your friends, of your spouse or partner. You understand? Put a stronghold on you. You are letting all these things put a stronghold. You are distracted, Joe. You are all over the place. You gotta break this bondage. I'm here to help you to break this bondage. I'm here to help you to understand what you have a right to also now, even if you are limited. At that point in life, you are limited. Don't give up on your dreams. Do not give up on your dreams, Joe. This is the reason what I'm here for. This is what I'm here for. It's still possible, Lento. Even though when in reality, I told you about irreality, you cannot be realistic when it comes to your goals. Because if you check your reality, it's going to discourage you. Uthixo is supernatural. He takes it from there, yena. When it looks impossible, yena kaloku uyenza be possible. Andazi uyandiva na. It's simple as that. Let's apply logic. Why is there a God again? If we can do this thing by ourselves. I got to where I am because of Uthixo. A payslip yam could only afford me to settle for whatever, Joe. But I had this mentality of I wanted way better, man. And I understood way through Uthixo. Uthixo works in mysterious ways. God's ways are not our ways. Uthixo uzosebenza enye indlela ongazi understand. Don't want the problem yakhe one man. The problem yakhe one wena. You want to know everything. What do I mean by that? You want to have answers to every question, every situation. I didn't have to know bangabana zayifumana njani le way. I've got the 7-seater ngoku bendifuna. I've got the house. In fact, ansahlala kuloo ndlu, sendihlala kwenye ngoku. You want me to go off? Do you want more? You understand? Ansahlala even nakuloo ndlu. This thing is still on. Ansahlala nakuloo ndlu. Le so-called my dream house. I'm no longer living in that dream house now. I live here, Joe. I'm not here to flex. I'm just showing you. I'm just showing you what usebenza njani. Your problem is, I'm saying again, the problem yako, you want to have answers. You unampendulo too much. You want to justify everything. Uthixo wathi, hayi konke ndiyafudumala ngoku. When I'm supposed to go, do not lean onto your understanding. Do not lean kwi-understanding yakho. Let him guide your steps ngapha. Do not always apply because a capacity yakho is limited. Do not lean onto this capacity. That's what it means, man. Simple English. IBhayibhile yazithetha izinto ezi, you're not paying attention. Uyayazi nje le theory wena, but we apply. I didn't lean on my understanding at that point in time when I wanted in the grand, but if it's sleepy, I'm the frobe sitting. No, you cannot. Humble yourself and go there. I was like, nah, I'm not going there. I'm built different, Joe. This was my first tattoo. I forgot to mention. Around this time, when things were still gloomy, when I had an epiphany, ne? I was coming into my own, man. I wrote this tattoo. Remember, I've always wanted to have tattoos, even in high school when I started playing ball, but couldn't afford them, obvious. So when I had a little bit of change, when I was coming into my own, this is the first tattoo that I had. It's called Rare Breed. I know you cannot see it. It's called Rare Breed. This was my first tattoo. That's what I called myself. It started with this tattoo. That's how I started seeing myself back in the day. Because abanye abantu nicima sithetha ngolu hlobo because hayi ngokusegrand andithi ngoku that's why sithetha kakhulu. No. You have to be him before you are him. You have to be her, my sister, before you are her. I am him. I've always known I'm him. Thetha is abantu bakumamela. Dala ndiyifike ndiyilindelele we. I had to be him before I can be him. Lo mbonayo, him, lo mbonango, I was already him. Here, apha engqondweni. What you talking about, boy? Ngumthetha nabani? Unjonge kakuhle kanjonga njongo esi. Unjonga. Unjonge kakuhle. Muta is mna one. You understand? I had to be him, and I know that I'm here to. Ucima nthetha ngam. Peep game. Peep game. No, I'm talking about you. You are him. You don't realize it. You are him. You have to know yourself, Mara. It's inside lento. It's all inside you. You are well equipped already. We'll talk about that in season 2. Or you thought there was no season 2? No. This is just season 1, boy. I'm getting started. I'm just warming up. This is just season 1, Joe. I had to look. I cannot just come now here and bombard you with everything. This is just an introduction for us to get to know each other. Call it foreplay while we edit. You understand? So, I'm here to tell you what you are him. You are her, my sister. You don't realize it when. You've got it all. But for that to be uncovered, who is your manufacturer, Anditi? He knows you best when you think you know everything. The problem again, I'm gonna say, you think you know everything when. I'll advise her. Some of my friends, advisor, yes, always have answers. You always have excuses. Always have, guess what? Nati. We also had those excuses, but we didn't use them. We saw beyond that. The only way, your life, the life that I wanted, the life that I'm living now, the one I'm living now, was on the other side of the fear. Uyakhumbula ngikhwela train andithi? Uyakhumbula ngikhwela train? Uyakhumbula andithi? Going to eGauteng, apho ndingazi mntu. All the moves that I've done, man. uThixo ujongile. I was getting God's attention. God was like, hey man, Moses, go and check them. Ngubani lentwana le man. Hey man, there's someone out there. Hamba man Moses, hamba. Uyabo? Hamba jonga ngubani lowa. I got God's attention. Because I understood what in life lendi philayo is on the other side of the doubt. It's on the other side of the fear. You understand about it? But if you don't want the smoke, if you want to be ordinary, now also related, because I'm not here to convince you you should see. I'm not here if you sitting on the couch that is doing nothing. I'm here for abantu grinder who need more inspiration because the journey is difficult. I'm here to confirm to you, my brother, a blessing yako and it yam depet. I'm not sugarcoating anything. A blessing yam depet. Depet ne yako ihleli apha ecamkwam. It's waiting for you. Come and get it. You know what you need to do. Into funeka uyenzile yaziwa nguwe yaziwa ndim. uThixo uthetha nawe ngaphakathi. You're not paying attention. It's time you pay attention. Uta esisekhona ngoku to let you know. I don't come from a rich family. I didn't have influential friends. I had no family support. How did I get here then? No, you tell me, smart guy. Kamele doubt. Yithi ndiyabila ngenxa yakho. No, you tell me ba ngoku ke ngoku make sicacise kahle, make sicacise ngo sibeke iBhayibhile ecaleni. Ndifike njani ke? You explaining to me. Ndaswelekelwa old lady, never known my father. How then do I become the great husband that I am to my wife? How then do I become a great father that I am to my kids? I made a choice. How then do I get this seven-seater car? How then do I have lendlu lenhlala kuyo? Le wena, some of you guys have been to the crib. Le niyaziyo. Ucima ndifumene njani? This is how I got it. I didn't just nje ntonto. This is how I got it. Sometimes ndibona abantu nicima abana abantu bavele Joe. Joe. But stop making excuses, man. Stop making excuses. Stop having an answer for everything. You understand that, Joe? Le nto le, it's inside of you, yaziwa nguwe. And yazi mna, all I'm here to do is to jumpstart you, basically. I'm just here to make you realize, good, the power is inside you. You have it. The answer to your problems, it's inside you. That's what I'm saying. If you're busy in your grind without uThixo, now incorporate uThixo in your grind, and you're gonna see what's gonna happen. Uzoza undibulele uthi bechilo uzohlala utayise bechilo. All this time, I was doing it wrong. Guys, I'm gonna love you and leave you there for today. But hey man, it's hot in Saudi, man. It's summer and ngapha ngicemene aircon, I have no choice because it's gonna mess up my sound, right? Okay, so in Bilen, but I don't mind that. This is my passion, man. This is what I've been waiting to do all this time, you know. Sharp bafethu. Guys, let's meet in the next episode, man. The story continues. You're not ready. What's about to happen? I had to go through something. To get this, I had to go through something. I thought I was done. No, I'm not done. What's about to happen? You don't want to miss the next episode. You see that one? That one is not the one to miss. You understand? Guys, let's meet in the next episode. Keep well, man. From nothing to something.